Crochet channel. My name is Sally, and today I'll be sharing with you guys how I made this faux crochet deer head. And let me just tell you guys how stubborn I am. Okay, I will see this deer head everywhere in the store and online. I always want to buy it, but I always never buy it because I know damn well I can make it. So as you know, this will be part 1 of my tutorial. And we will begin by crocheting only the head part of the deer. And so these are the items that I used for the tutorial. And I would suggest grabbing a pen and paper to write down the pattern as we go, or you can simply just follow along with me. So to begin, I will be using Karen yarn, and I will be using a size G crochet hook. So next I'm just gonna make a simple slip knot. And then I will begin by chaining 2 chains. So next I'm going to go into the first chain, wrap my tail around the crochet hook, and place our first single crochet. Then we will place 9 more single crochets for a total of 10 single crochets into that same stitch. So once you're done, you can go ahead and count and make sure you have 10 single crochets, and then you can go ahead and tighten it with the tail and then slip stitch together. So next you can go ahead and chain 1 and do 1 single crochet into that same stitch. And then we will place another single crochet into that same stitch, and then we will just place 2 single crochets into each stitch all the way around, and then we'll meet for the next row. I will be placing the row number on the top left part of the video, and then the how many stitches that row has on the top right part of the video. And I just thought that would be helpful for you guys, so I just added that in for you. So for row number 3, we're going to begin by chaining 1, and then we will just place 1 single crochet into this first stitch, and then into the next 2 stitches. And on the 4th stitch we will place an increase of 2 single crochets. So into the 4th stitch we're going to place 2 single crochets, and then we're going to keep the pattern going all the way around by placing 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochets on the 4th stitch, and we're going to keep this going all the way around. For row number 4, I just placed one single crochet into each stitch all the way around. For row number 5, I just placed one single crochet into the first 5 stitches, and then on the 6th stitch I placed 2 single crochets, and we will keep this pattern going all the way around. So one single crochet into the first 5 stitches, and then followed by an increase on the 6th stitch. So for rows numbers 6 through 8, I just placed one single crochet into each stitch all the way around, and then we'll meet for row number 9. So now that you have 8 rows, we will begin row number 9 by chaining 1, and then we will just place one single crochet into the first 3 stitches, followed by an increase on every 4th stitch. So again, we are going to place one single crochet into the first 3 stitches, and then on the 4th stitch we will place an increase of 2 single crochets. For row number 10, I just placed one single crochet into each stitch, and we will be doing this for rows 10 through 15. For row number 16, I just placed one single crochet into the first 5 stitches, and then I placed my increase into every 6th stitch, and I did this all the way around. For row number 17, I placed one single crochet into the first 6 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into every 7th stitch. And I did the same pattern all the way around. For row number 18, I just placed one single crochet into every stitch all the way around. So for row number 19, I started off with one single crochet into the first 13 stitches, Next, you're going to want to go to the end of the row and count 14 stitches, and then you're just going to place a stitch marker so that you can stop doing the sequence there and put 14 single crochets. So we are still in row 19, and I'm just going to show you the sequence after you do 13 stitches. So next you're going to put 2 single crochets into the next stitch, and then you're going to put 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. And I'm just going to keep repeating this pattern of 1 single crochet into the first 4 stitches and then an increase on the 5th stitch. And we're just going to repeat this all the way till we get to the other stitch marker that we added. So for row number 20, I started off with 1 single crochet into the first 13 stitches, and then I did an increase in between each of these sets. So next I did a set of 12 single crochets with an increase, after another 12 single crochets with the increase after. Then I just placed 1 single crochet into the last 13 stitches. So for row 21, I just placed a set of 13 single crochets, 1 single crochet into each stitch, and then in between all of these sets I placed an increase. So the next set I did, I placed 6 single crochets, and then I did a set of 7, and then another set of 7, and then another set of 6, and then another set of 12 at the end. And all of these I put an increase in between. So for rows number 22 through 24, I just placed 1 single crochet into each stitch. So for row number 25, I did a couple sets with increases in between them. So the first set I did was a set of 15 single crochets, 1 single crochet into each stitch, and then I did another 3 sets of 9. And then the last set I did was 15 single crochets. And all of these with increases in between them. For rows number 26 through 28, I just placed 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. So for row number 29, I'm just going to count all the way to the 8th stitch, and then I will place my stitch marker there. And I'm doing this because I will stop doing my increases there. So next I'm going to do a pattern of 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then I will be placing 2 single crochets into the next stitch, and I will keep this pattern going all the way until we reach the stitch marker. So next I'm just going to grab my stitch marker, and then I'm going to count 7 stitches down and place my stitch marker. So that's where we're going to place our last increase, and we're going to do the same pattern there. Next we're going to go back to where we left off, and I'm just going to place 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way until we get to the stitch marker. So once you get to the stitch marker, you're just going to place 2 single crochets into that same stitch, and then we're going to continue the pattern by placing 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochets into each stitch. Okay, you guys, so for this row, this is going to be the last little complicated row. So for row number 30, I just counted all the way to the 8th stitch, and then I placed my stitch marker there. So next I just placed 1 single crochet into the first 3 stitches, and then I put an increase right after that, and then I did another 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then on the last stitch I just placed an increase. Next I just counted all the way to the 8th stitch and placed my stitch marker there, and then I just placed 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around until I got to the stitch marker. Okay, so once you get to the stitch marker, we're just going to repeat the same steps as the beginning of this row. So we're at the stitch marker, we're just going to place 2 single crochets, followed by 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then another increase, and then another 1 single crochet into the last 3 stitches. Okay, so finally we're on the last rows here, and so for rows number 31 through 38, I just placed 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way around, and then we'll meet for the next step. So once I was finished with the last row, I just stuffed my deer head, and then I grabbed a piece of cardboard and I just placed it down and I traced over it with a pencil. And I just wanted to mention to you guys to cut a really long tail, because we are going to use that later, so just keep that in mind. The other cardboard I had looked really beat up, so I ended up switching cardboards. And next I just grabbed my scissors and I placed 2 holes on the back so that I can tie a string around it later and hang it up. The next step was a complete waste of time, and I thought I was gonna need it, but I ended up not even using it at all. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the overall shape of the cardboard is like oval, so I did the holes on the wrong part, so I just fixed it, and I'm going to place my string through. Make sure it's a really long piece of string, really long piece of yarn. So next I'm just gonna pull the string through the loop and secure it. And next I'm just gonna grab my needle. So the next step, I just placed the yarn through one of the holes just to lock the cardboard in place. and then I just placed my needle in between each stitch, going back and forth with my needle, and I did this all the way around. So once I was finished going with the needle all the way around, I just try to bring all the crochet parts outside of the cardboard, and then I grabbed the string tail and I tightened it. So once I liked how tight it was, and then I tied a knot and sewed my tail in. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I put out videos at least twice a month. And if you want to see part 2 to this tutorial, I will have it up on the end screen at the end of the video.